In today's show, Coindays destroyed, spike hinting at Bitcoin price bottom. I'll be sharing the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week. As pointed out here by C15 Capital, when you panic sell your Bitcoin, this guy buys it all. Today, this guy bought 6 times already. Bitcoin worth $20 million. And as Liver Coin shares here, watching this clear the lows and return back to CME close price, which shows in today's show, Coindays destroyed. In today's show, Coindays destroyed, spike hinting at Bitcoin price bottom. I'll be sharing the 5 things to watch out for in the Bitcoin market this week. As pointed out here by C15 Capital, when you panic sell your here, governments claiming the authority to freeze people's bank accounts because they want to crush a protest movement is tyrannical and obscene. If you would oppose China or Russia doing it, you must oppose Canada doing it. And he makes a great point. And more breaking news, crypto exchange FTX to launch its own game and NFTs. Also in today's show, can Bitcoin break out versus tech stocks again as the Nasdaq the faster will rally beyond $100,000. Also in today's show, U.S. President Sleepy Joe Biden to issue short-term view as one of considerable uncertainty, while optimism remains for a comeback for both risk assets such as crypto. Global stocks have lost another $1.3 trillion in market cap this week on heightened Russia/Ukraine risk and the potential for continual Fed rate hikes this year. The latter expected to halt growth and trigger a recession by the first half of 2023. In the U.S., stocks now worth $114 trillion, equal to 134% of global GDP. Now for the second factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market is Bitcoin price takes aim at CME futures gap. And with that, it's been a tough one for the average Bitcoin trader this month. February has afforded only around 2 weeks of easy gains, with macro influences putting an end to the party the week before last. And since then, Bitcoin has lost that $40,000 support and threatened the full retracement of this month's newly won ground. And in the event, however, 38,000, a level previously highlighted as essential to hold for the bulls, remained intact. Now, the weekly close, while the lowest in several weeks, was accompanied by a fresh relative strength index breakout on the 4-hour chart, a classic signal preceding short-term price bounces. As Matthew Highland shares here, Bitcoin 4-hour RSI broke out with the close, waiting for the MACD to confirm. And as shared here by LiverCoin, watching this, clear the lows and return back to CME close price, which means an ascension back above that $40,000 mark, which you can clearly see here with that CME gap. Now for the third factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market, who's buying while you're selling? The million-dollar question amid this belief that some are choosing to sell their Bitcoin now after hodling through several months of downside. Data shows that big players are smelling a bargain. Some of the largest Bitcoin wallets out there are putting their money where their mouth is and have been doing so throughout 2022 and even before. There are many examples with on-chain monitoring resource, BitInfo charts showing the up-only trend for one entity. In particular, Monday alone saw its balance increase by 150 BTC, and it's not alone. Others have been scooping up coins during this weekend's local low, as pointed out here by C15 Capital. Check it. When you panic sell your Bitcoin, this guy buys it all. Today, this guy bought 6 times already. Bitcoin worth $20 million. Now for the fourth factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market, Coindays destroyed, hints at possible bottom. That's right, those looking for signs that 38,000 was the local floor need not in fact look too far. Thanks to on-chain data analysis, it can be seen that the long-term Bitcoin investors repeated behavior over the weekend, which accompanied the July 2021 and September 2021 Bitcoin price bottoms. The data set this time from CryptoQuant governs Coindays destroyed, the cumulative number of days since each Bitcoin last moved on a given day. The weekend saw a significant number of older coins on the move, thus destroying the largest number of dormant days since the July 2021 bottom below $30,000. And in terms of raw numbers, Coindays destroyed was the highest since July of 2019, although the event at the time accompanied a local top rather than a bottom. Now, the phenomenon was noted by CryptoQuant contributor IT Tech, who also highlighted another on-chain metric governing hodlers flagging a price down move. As he shares here on Crypto Twitter, Bitcoin, I found something really interesting. Before price pulled back, some long-term hodler moved their Bitcoin because low time frame SOPR spiked twice today. Each time after this event, price go down. The Coindays destroyed showed also big spike. Now for the fifth and final factor to keep your eyes out on this week in the Bitcoin market, extreme fear is back with a vengeance. That's right. Checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we're currently rated a 25 out of 100 in extreme fear. Yesterday a 27, last week a 46, and last month a 13 in extreme fear. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That can be a great buying opportunity like we're witnessing right now. BTFD, buy that frickin' dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. And as Edward Snowden shares here, governments claiming the authority to freeze people's bank accounts because they want to crush a protest movement is tyrannical and obscene. If you would oppose China or Russia doing it, you must oppose Canada doing it. Very wise words. And he says, very glad that the Canadian Civil Liberties Association exists. And checking out this article he's referring to, here's what it has to say. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association, known as CCLA, announced today it will pursue litigation to challenge the federal government's use of the Emergency Act. Quoting them here, this morning I listened carefully to the Prime Minister and heard no legal justifications for a national emergency and the enormous power the government is hoping to give itself to bypass the typical democratic process. The situation in Ottawa has been complicated, difficult, and painful, in particular for marginalized communities who have experienced racial and homophobic intimidation by some. Governments already have the lawful authority to address difficult situations and do so all the time. This use of the Emergencies Act is unnecessary, unjustifiable, and unconstitutional. Our society needs peaceful assembly, a critical democratic tool, even though not every person agrees with the content of every movement. So there you have it. And before I break down next story of the day, can Bitcoin break out versus tech stocks again as NASDAQ decoupling paints $100,000 Bitcoin price target? But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, there are blood on these crypto streets with Bitcoin down about 2% for the day, trading just above $37,600. We have Ether down 0.67%, trading just above $2,600. We have Solana down 1%, trading at $88.82. XRP down 3%, trading at 76 cents. And Binance Coin down 3.5%, trading at $368. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. A potential decoupling scenario between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ Composite can push the Bitcoin price to reach six figures within 24 months, according to Tor Demeester, founder of Adamant Capital. That's right. Demeester depicted Bitcoin's growing market valuation against tech-heavy U.S. stock market index, highlighting its ability to break out every time after a period of strong consolidation. Quoting him here, it may do so again within the next coming 24 months, he wrote, citing the attached chart, which you can see here on your screen. Now, the Bitcoin price has grown from a mere 6 cents to as high as $69,000 back in November of last year, more than a decade after its introduction to the market, as per data tracked by Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. Now, check this out. That amounted to around 64.5 million % increase in Bitcoin's price since 2010. And in comparison, NASDAQ's returns in the same period come to nearly 650% from 20.99 points on June 22nd, 2020 to 171 as of February 18th, 2022. And as a result, Bitcoin's market cap has grown to $755 billion compared to NASDAQ's $28.68 billion. Now for the $1 million question, will Bitcoin decouple from tech stocks again? Well, Bitcoin's history so far has witnessed multiple periods of its strong correlation with U.S. tech stocks. For instance, earlier this month, the crypto's correlation efficiency with NASDAQ reached 0.73, almost near its 5-year high of 0.74 in 2020, as per data from Bloomberg. And right here in this chart, you can see the Bitcoin and tech stocks price performance since September 2017. Bitcoin's price per token dropped from its record high of $69,000 back in November of last year to below $33,000 last month amid a sell-off across broader risk-on markets. The decline was accompanied by the Federal Reserve's decision to aggressively raise benchmark rates against rising consumer prices, which reached their 4-decade high in January 2022. Now, Matthew Siegel, head of digital assets research at Van Eck Associates, anticipated Bitcoin to fall alongside the NASDAQ and other U.S. stock indexes, albeit more severe. However, he notes that Bitcoin's volatility has been in a downtrend in the recent years, and in comparison, NASDAQ 100 has been exhibiting more standard deviation moves than its 5-year average. The outlook portrays that Bitcoin has been gradually improving to become a dependable safe haven asset against rising inflation. As a result, its correlation with risk-on assets such as tech stocks could decline. Now let's discuss that $100,000 Bitcoin price target. Tor Demeester cited Bitcoin's ability to consolidate around $50,000 despite reeling under the pressure of its correlation with NASDAQ as one of the primary reasons why it could embark on a run-up towards $100,000. Checking out his tweet here, Bitcoin has a history of breaking out against tech stocks. Judging by this chart, it may do so again within the coming 24 months. Hashtag decoupling. And he also shares this tweet from back on January 3rd. Bitcoin's launch pad, the longer we consolidate around $50,000, the faster we'll rally beyond $100,000. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Tor Demeester. Now, the Bitcoin price target came in line with what Goldman Sachs anticipated at the beginning of 2022. The investment giant, which manages $1.2 trillion worth of assets globally, noted that Bitcoin can reach $100,000 if it takes some part of the market share of gold, a traditional safe haven asset. And today, Bitcoin's market cap is just under 6% of gold's. I feel eventually there will be a flippening. It's only a matter of time. The real question is, when will that happen? And once we flip gold's market cap, which is currently sitting at what, roughly $10 trillion. We got Bitcoin just under $1 trillion. I mean, we can easily anticipate a $500,000 Bitcoin price, just saying. And before I break down next story of the day, U.S. President Sleepy Joe Biden to issue executive order on crypto this week. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market cap, sitting just under $1.8 trillion with $66.5 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. The current Bitcoin dominance is 41.6%, with Ether dominance at 18.3%. But all right, now let's break down our next story of the day. U.S. President Sleepy Joe Biden is expected to issue an executive order on crypto this week. An administration official familiar with the matter reportedly told Yahoo Finance the news of the Biden administration preparing an executive order on crypto was first reported back in January. The executive order will direct a wide range of government agencies to study cryptocurrency and central bank digital currency, better known as CBDC, and come up with a government-wide strategy to regulate crypto assets, the publication conveyed. Now, various government agencies will be asked to produce a report on the future of money and payment systems, including the departments of the Treasury, State, Justice, and Homeland Security. Now, the Financial Stability Oversight Council will examine financial stability issues stemming from digital assets. And according to the International Monetary Fund, known as the IMF, crypto could soon pose risks to countries' financial stability. Now, we all know that is nothing more than FUD, and we all know that Bitcoin is a direct threat to the central bankers and IMF. It is what it is. Now, the Attorney General, the FTC, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau will study how the growth of the crypto sector could impact market competition. The FTC recently issued several warnings about crypto investment schemes. Now, the SEC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and the Federal Reserve, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the Office of Comptroller of the Currency will consider market protection measures within their jurisdictions. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler said last week that the SEC will work with CFTC on regulating the crypto sector. Now, we all know this is not for the protection of consumers. This is for the protection of central bankers. Now, the Treasury Department will be in charge of compiling a report to the president on how to protect against risks from cryptocurrencies. After consultation with the SEC, CFTC, and federal banking agencies, the executive order will also examine consumers, business, and investor protection measures. Other issues it will address include stablecoins, privacy, and distributed ledger technology. Now, last week, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, better known as the FBI, launched a new unit to tackle crypto exploitation, and the Department of Justice appointed the first director of its national cryptocurrency enforcement team. The U.S. government will also look at coordinating with other countries to standardize crypto rules. Robert Uphill, a member of the Financial Stability Board, recently said that global regulators are going full steam on crypto regulation. The current structure is no longer fit for the purpose with the development of cross-border digital market activities. He stressed, so there you have it. Do you feel that this regulation bill will be bullish or bearish for the king of all crypto? Holla at your boy in the live chat. But all right, now let's break down our final story of the day. Mexico's third richest billionaire, Ricardo Salinas, gave some advice on Saturday about investing into the king of all crypto. Salinas is the founder and chairman of Grupo Salinas, a group of companies with interest in telecommunications, media, financial services, and retail stores. And according to Forbes' list of billionaires, his net worth is currently worth more than $13 billion. That's right. And he got orange pilled by Max Kaiser back in the day. So shout out to Max and Stacy of the Kaiser Report and Orange Pill Pod. Now, the billionaire tweeted on Saturday, urging his Twitter followers to buy Bitcoin, keep buying while the price of Bitcoin is still low. Sharing his tweet right here. You have to buy Bitcoin. Keep buying when the price is low. Then just hold your Bitcoin. Forget about selling. Trust me, you're going to thank me later. Sage advice, if you're to ask me. The Bitcoin has fallen more than 40% since its all-time high back in November of around 69,000. A number of people and corporations have bought the dip, including the NASDAQ-listed MicroStrategy, U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, and the government of El Salvador. Shout out to Nayib Bukele. This is not the first time that Salinas has strongly recommended buying Bitcoin. He explained in June of last year, Bitcoin is an asset that has extraordinary properties. All the advantages that Bitcoin has for me make it gold for the modern world. And in comparison, Salinas often attacked fiat currency, calling it a fraud because it is. Quoting him here, governments don't like Bitcoin. It burns them that people can get out of their fiat trap because that's what fiat money is for, a fraud, he opined. And in November, he referenced the scale of fake money creation in the U.S., stating good old USA is looking more and more like any other irresponsible third world country. He then advised, buy Bitcoin right now. He reiterated in December of last year, stay away from fiat money, the dollar, the euro, the yen, or the peso. They're all the same story. It's fake money made of paper and lies. The central banks are printing more money than ever before. Invest in Bitcoin. So there you have it. Massive shout out to Ricardo Salinas for preaching the truth about the king of all crypto and the US dollar and its fiat trash components and all the FUD that goes along with it. Now for the top 3 comments from yesterday's episode, Bring Facts wrote, you're either stressing out over the daily Bitcoin price moves or you understand Bitcoin. Keep calm, dollar cost average, and hodl on. Well said, fam. Keep calm, dollar cost average, and hodl on. Sage advice. And our next featured comment comes from Murph, who wrote, excuse me, did you say Russia invading Ukraine is just FUD in terms of Bitcoin price or in terms of geopolitics? Just to make sure. Yup, just another engineered BS story from the lamestream media to keep us distracted and in fear so we don't recognize the real war waged on humanity right now. And our third and final featured comment comes from Atanas, who wrote, JV, you're the man with that comment for Buffett and Munger. You forgot the only one. Just add George Soros. Keep up the great job, JV. Cheers, Atanas. I appreciate your support. Yes, indeed, we can most definitely add George Soros is evil butt to the mix. Hodl. And to be featured on tomorrow's episode, drop me a comment right down below.